Hi there, my name is Gary and I'm from your local fire station. Today I'm going to talk to you about bonfire and fireworks safety. The 5th of November is rapidly approaching, so our key message is we want you to go out and have a fantastic night, but most importantly we want you to stay safe. So throughout this presentation I'm going to give you some key points and maybe some tips to help you stay safe on bonfire night. I want this to be as interactive as possible, so please discuss throughout this session with your classmates and also with your teachers. I hope you enjoy it and I hope you learn something.
In this country, we have a set of guidelines that have been put in place called the Firework Code. These have been put in place to protect yourself and others when fireworks are in use. Now, only one person should have overall responsibility for setting off the fireworks. This has to be the person in charge. They must be an adult and they must be over the age of 18 years. So the person that's responsible for the display must never be under the influence of alcohol or drugs. If you see someone drinking or acting in a drunk manner or using drugs, you must report them to an adult or to the police. Make sure that everybody stands well back. As you can see in the slide here, people here are standing well back and enjoying the display. Sometimes it's a much better experience if you're from a distance because you get the overall view of the display. Not only that, but fireworks can be very unpredictable in which way they fly off, especially if it's not a professionally run display. Never go back to a firework that has been lit. It could still explode. This is very important. I know they can be quite expensive and it's frustrating if they're not going off, but just treat them as duds and leave them be. Never throw fireworks. This is extremely dangerous. Not only that, but it is a criminal offence. If they're to go off in a direction, they could go into a bonfire, they could cause a huge explosion, and they could cause some serious injuries. Never keep fireworks in a pocket. This could cause them to go off with the friction from your clothing. Fireworks should always be kept in a box, a secure box preferably, that is locked.
So let's talk about bonfires and what we should consider if you're going to have a bonfire. So the number one rule for us is that a bonfire is under the supervision of a responsible adult at all times. Any small children should be supervised and kept well away from lit bonfires. It is very dangerous to throw any fireworks or aerosols into bonfires, as these can cause serious injury, but it's also a serious criminal offence to do that. So a good tip from ourselves is to keep a bucket of water handy just in case of accidents. So this can be used to extinguish the fire if it's spreading, but it can also be used to dip any hands or fingers that have got burnt from sparklers to cool it off. So let's avoid loose clothing and tie back any long hair. And at the end of the night, make sure that the bonfire is fully extinguished rather than leaving it to burn out. So what do we consider a safe bonfire? So for us, a safe bonfire is something that's been safely constructed, that there's no hazards inside it, and it's also a minimum of 18 metres away from buildings, that it's a maximum of 2.5 metres in height. Make sure that when you're building it, you look up, that there's no any overhead cables that could melt or be damaged by the fire. And we also need to make sure that there's an adult supervising the fire at all times. What we'd always recommend within the fire service to reduce risks is try and attend organised bonfire displays. The safety's in place and there's always cordons and you'll have a fantastic time.
Now this slide really couldn't sum it up any better. Hoax calls certainly can cost lives. So if you were to make a call to the fire service as a hoax when it's not required, we end up sending appliances to your address or the address that you've called the hoax call. Now these fire appliances could be getting sent to a serious road traffic collision, a house fire where someone's trapped, or it could be a serious chemical incident or water rescue. So just think of the consequences. This could be somebody you know that's trapped in their house or trapped in a car. It could be a member of your family. So there's serious consequences to this. Every time that a fire engine is turned out of the station, it costs around £2,000. So that's the monetary side of things. But you have to think of the moral side as well, that you could end up costing someone their life. So I'm now going to show you a quick video of the consequences and what can happen if you should throw aerosols into a bonfire.
What's going on?
Okay, Danny, my name's Dave. I'm one of the doctors here. I'm going to be looking after you. We don't want you to worry. What we're going to do is we're just going to put an oxygen mask on and we're going to cut this jumper off and attach some leads. Okay, and then we're going to give you something for the pain. Okay, you might feel this little cool on your skin, Danny. Don't be worried.
Pop this mask over your face, Danny. Keep it nice and cool.
What happened? See you later, Mum.
Bye, love. Be careful.
I will.
Mum, why does he want to come to the park with us and watch the fireworks?
He's a big lad now, Liv. He's at that age where he wants to be with his friends. He's sensible and they're a good bunch. Don't worry, we'll have a good time too.
We're just going to...
Oh, yeah. Look for that, James. Yeah, that was fun.
Quick, get down. Go on, lad. Get him now.
What's going on there?
Go ahead, Emma.
Ops 4 from Mike 12 Papa 1. Appliance has been hit by a firework. Windscreen has been damaged and is now unable to proceed to incident. Request another appliance to be dispatched.
The bigger lads, maybe 16, 17. I only caught a glimpse of them.
Just because it's November the 5th, some of them think they can do what they want. And guess what? They can't. The CCTV around there is fantastic. We'll catch them.
That's really stupid, then. He could have been on the way to save someone's life.
I know, yeah.
Anyway, let's go to the park. We can cut through the woods.
Where are we going now? Fireworks.
Hey, lad. Lad.
Yeah.
Come here a minute, lad.
Nah, we've got to go to the park.
Come here, lad. Don't worry about it, honestly.
No, we have to go on.
Alright, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll take Quick phone now, bud.
Ambulance! Quick! You okay, Tony?
We'll be there soon.
Okay, Danny, you're just going up a little bit. Let's switch him over onto the oxygen.
Danny, I'm just going to cut your top off, okay, so we can have a little look at you and see if you've got any burns on your chest.
They've said you're going to need skin grafts. It's really going to help with the scarring.
Wish it never happened.
It's okay, love.
Now that was quite a hard hitting video, and that video was designed to be so I'd like to thank our colleagues down in Merseyside for putting the work in and making that video. Now that was a video, but it was based on true life events, and Danny did suffer some serious injuries, some serious burns to his face, and he did have to get skin grafts. Now Danny was very lucky not to lose his sight. That was of no fault of his own, that was from people messing around and throwing aerosols onto a bonfire. So never throw anything on a bonfire, especially aerosols or any sorts of canisters. Now we're going to talk a little bit about sparklers. Now sparklers are always seen as the sort of little kids kind of fireworks, a little bit tame, but let me assure you they're very dangerous. If they're not used correctly, they can be great fun and they can be a real highlight of your night. Now sparklers burn at 1500 degrees Celsius, so to give you a little bit of perspective on that, your barbecue that you use in the summer, the hot coals there, you would never put your hand anywhere near those, would you? Well, they are actually 5 times cooler than what a sparkler burns at. So that gives you an idea. So sparklers are very hot and they can cause some serious injuries and burns. Now here's some little hands here. These injuries came about from using a sparkler. Now this has been an under 5 who's been unsupervised using a sparkler, and what's happened is an item of her clothing's caught fire. So I always recommend, if you're using sparklers, keep them at arm's width, keep them well away from your face, and make sure that you know what you're doing and you've got plenty of space around you so you're not going to hurt yourself or hurt anybody else. Now other fireworks injuries that we've got here, what do you think's happened here? Any idea? Feel free to shout out. I'll give you a clue. The hand on the left's a good one. So what's happened here is someone has went to throw a firework, as we talked about earlier, which we all know is very dangerous. What's happened is they've got their timing wrong and the fireworks went off in their hand. Now you can see by the x-ray just how much damage that's done to the skeleton, to the bones. I'd hate to actually see the true life photo of that, just to see the damage that done to their hand. It could end up being life-changing injuries. They could have lost their hand. And just look at those photos above as well. The scarring there could last a lifetime. You might never lose that scarring, and as you saw in Danny's video, that scarring on his face could be there until he's an old man. He could live with that for the rest of his life. Now the main message that we're trying to get across here is if you want to enjoy a bonfire or fireworks display, then go to an organised event. They are much better, they're always much bigger, they last longer, and the quality of fireworks on display are just fantastic. As you can see here from a fireworks display at Edinburgh Castle during the Edinburgh Festival, it really is beautiful to watch. If you go to an organised display, you're going to be in a much safer position as well. Keep your distance, and it's all risk assessed, so it's much safer. So if you don't want your hands to look like this, and you don't want your arms to look like this, just remember and follow the firework code and stay safe. Now we're reaching the end of the fire service presentation, and before I hand you over to my colleagues at Police Scotland, I'd just like a quick overview of what we've talked about today. So the main point is, if you want to enjoy yourself and stay safe, go to an organised bonfire display or fireworks. It is much safer, they're generally bigger and better, and we really don't want people having bonfires. This can cause undue strain on the fire service, and we're all already busy at this time of year. So we want you to have a great 5th of November and enjoy yourself, but stay safe. If you do have any questions, please pass them on to your teacher and they will get in touch with us. We also have a Facebook page which we have down at the bottom of the screen. Feel free to forward any questions here, and feel free to like our page and share some of our important fire safety messages. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your presentation.
Hello, I'm PC Tate Logan, a Youth Community Officer based in the Scottish Borders. Today I'm going to speak to you about some of the laws that are associated with firework and bonfire night. Bonfire night is the 5th of November. Police Scotland want you to enjoy fireworks, but we also want you to be as safe as possible at this time of year. Please remember to ensure all activity is compliant with the current coronavirus restrictions and guidance at the time. Listen to the adults present and remember to keep your distance. As we heard from the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service, fireworks can be dangerous and can cause severe injuries if they are not handled, used or stored properly. That is why we have laws in place to keep people safe. Here are some of the laws that are in place and that are associated with Bonfire Night. It's against the law for anyone under the age of 18 to be in possession of a firework in a public place. It's against the law for anyone to conceal or to hide a firework from the police if they are being searched under the firework legislation. It's also against the law for anyone to throw, to cast or to fire any firework in or into any road or public place or anywhere where there are other people. It's also against the law for any shop or licensed premises to sell a firework to a person under the age of 18. And it's also against the law for anyone to lay or to light a fire in a public place so it causes annoyance or alarm or endangers the property or endangers any other person. These laws are in place to keep you safe. Bonfire Night is a busy night for all emergency services, but we also need laws in place to keep us safe. We can be targeted when we're carrying out our duties and trying to keep people safe. Section 1 of the Emergency Workers Scotland Act 2005 means that an emergency worker or someone who is assisting that emergency worker, if they are hindered or assaulted by anyone else, that's against the law. Also under Section 39 of the Fire in Scotland Act 2005 means it's against the law to interfere or obstruct a firefighter with their firefighting equipment. Just to finish, if you are attending any bonfire or firework display, please remember to follow the rules and laws. Remember to follow the current coronavirus restrictions and listen to adults at all times, and keep your distance. Have fun and stay safe.
You'll all be glad to hear that that's now the end of the presentation. I really do hope you enjoyed today's session and hope you take something away from it. Please remember to stay safe on Bonfire Night. That is our main objective of this presentation. So lastly, if I could ask you all to take out your mobile phones or school iPads and select the camera option and hold it up to the screen in front of this QR code. That will then take you to a link where you can give us feedback on how we can improve these future presentations. If you don't have a camera or an iPad, please select the link in the bio below and you can give us feedback that way. Thank you very much and please remember to stay safe.